Greetings, this will be a quick walkthrough on the initial setup of the Excel-Checkbook template. After purchase, you'll have a link to download the file. I'm showing an example of the 2025 home version, but this getting started video will be helpful for all checkbook templates. After download, I recommend using the Show in Folder option if you have it. Please make sure that you are not opening the spreadsheet in a web browser. For example, for those that have Microsoft OneDrive on their PC, you might end up opening the spreadsheet in Excel Online, which is Microsoft's web browser version of Excel. It's not as full-featured as the regular desktop version of Excel, and thus several functions won't work. So if you arrive at a similar screen, I recommend closing your browser. For those on a Mac computer, you can disregard all of that, but for those on a Windows PC, be sure to go to your Downloads folder, as you will typically need to tell Windows to unblock the file since it has Excel macros embedded, which are needed for the automation in the spreadsheet. The first time you open the spreadsheet in Excel, you'll see a few notices which varies for those on a Mac computer versus a Windows PC. If you're on a Mac computer, you'll be prompted to enable macros, followed by a prompt to enable content, which is needed for the dashboard and reports to work. A quick but important note, as your safety is important. My website has full details about the macros in the file, and you're welcome to upload any file that you download from the internet to a free service like jotty.org or virustotal.com. Either of these websites can scan any file that you download from the internet to look for malware. For example, I'll use Jotty's service here to do a quick scan of one of the checkbook spreadsheets. This popular service will use 12 to 13 different virus scanners to check for anything malicious, and as you see here, nothing has been found that is malicious. It's important that I mention that because if you're on a Windows PC, the first time that you open up the spreadsheet, you will likely see a couple different warnings. For example, you might see a protected view warning where you'll need to click the button to enable editing. Next, you might see the security risk indicating that Microsoft has blocked macros from running because the source of the file is unknown to Microsoft. This is a common warning for any macro-enabled Excel file that you receive from a coworker or that you download from the internet. If you see this warning, you'll need to close the file and use File Explorer. Go to where the spreadsheet was downloaded, typically in the Downloads folder. Use your mouse to do a right-click on that file and look for an option called Properties. Next, look for the checkbox to unblock and then click OK. If you don't see this unblock checkbox, that's okay. After doing so, you should be able to reopen the spreadsheet file, and if you see the prompt to enable content, please do, so that the dashboard and report screen will work, as they use Excel Power Query, which Excel considers to be external to the main Excel program. The remainder of this Getting Started video will be specific to the 2026 home version of the Excel-Checkbook. When you open the spreadsheet, you'll typically arrive at the overview screen, which has a summary of features along with some links to resources, which includes this Getting Started video. At any time that you like, you can safely delete or hide this worksheet via a right-click. I'm going to navigate to the first Register Worksheet where you'll find some sample transactions. It's helpful to do a few test entries to get a feel for how things work. For example, I'll put an entry into my checkbook for a grocery store transaction. We've got columns for date, transaction type, check number, payee description, withdrawal, deposit, etc. Here in the date column, you can type in your date or you can use the drop-down picker to pick from recent dates over the last 1 or 2 months. For example, I'll click on January 8th. The transaction type is absolutely optional. I did not write a check, but it did go to the grocery store. And I put in my dollar amount. And as soon as I either press enter, an arrow key, or click my mouse, I'll see that the balance has been automatically computed. And you might notice that a subcategory of groceries was automatically populated in this subcategory field. I'll do one more sample entry before moving on, just to demonstrate that you can do everything via the keyboard without having to use the mouse. So for example, if I use my arrow key to cursor over to here, I can type in 1/9, hit my right arrow key, and come over here. And I do want to make note that there is a drop down. You can use your mouse to click that drop down. You can also hold down your Alt key and hit the down arrow key, and Alt down arrow will display that drop down. For example, maybe I went to the Lowe's home improvement store and I spent $76.89. And again, if I use my right arrow key, that's a way to cursor over. And for subcategories, you do have this customizable list of subcategories. And it's helpful to take a quick peek at where that is. There's a worksheet called Settings. There's also a button here at the top for editing categories. Either one will take you to the Settings worksheet. And here at the Settings worksheet is where you can find this list of categories that is fully customizable by you. These are here as a starting point, but again, you can fully customize these. There's also a reference to Quicken's previous list of subcategories. If you prefer, a website link is there in case you would like to make use of Quicken's default categories and subcategories. But let's spend a moment here looking at this screen for your settings for the checkbook. In addition to the table for categories, you also have a table for frequently used payees. There's a sample list already in here, but of course you can add additional entries in here as well. For example, maybe I go to the Publix grocery store as a frequent place, and if I'd like to have that entry automatically populate the subcategory field, I can click to find that list of subcategories, which is defined over here on this other side of the screen. Okay, quick note about the register names. For any of these green register worksheets, which typically will be for your checking accounts, savings accounts, active credit card accounts, you'll probably want to give those more meaningful names. So for example, if I right click on register 1, there's a pop-up choice in an Excel's menu here for rename, and I might want to call that my main checking account as an example. I'll press the enter key to complete that rename. Now when I go back to the settings worksheet, I'll see that it has correctly changed that reference here as well. And if you happen to use one of the registers for an active credit card, for example, I might rename register 3 to be my Discover credit card. I do recommend that on the settings screen, you change that register from being an asset to a liability, since those are potential debt obligations. And when you're ready to start actively using the checkbook, I certainly do recommend that you delete all of the sample entries in here. The one fast way is to hold down with your mouse over these entries here. And it's important that you not highlight that balance column. That is a formula. So I'm just going to highlight that particular range, and I can either hit the delete key on my keyboard, or Excel does have a right-click option to clear the contents. But I'll just use the delete key on my keyboard to clear out those samples. The very first line in the register is special, and it's where you'll put in your starting balance. It has a note here about putting that starting balance in cell G8, which is right over here. And you'll notice that this is just a number, whereas if I look at any of the other balance cells, it's a complex formula. So again, this is a first row is a special, and it's where you would put in whatever your starting balance is based on the date that you're going to go with. So right now there's a default date of December 31st, 2024. I'll just be sure to change that date to coincide with whatever your starting balance is. And if the sample spreadsheet happens to have an entry here for side income, we can safely click there, hit the delete key to clear that out, but do not delete or clear out the category or type columns. Again, those are those are formulas that will do a lookup based on the subcategory that you choose. Well, that'll conclude this quick getting started video. Be sure to check out the full walkthrough video that will cover all of the functionality in the 2026 Excel checkbook, and I hope you excel with your finances.